Would you like to write and publish your own book? For many, and for me, it was a dream, the idea of being an author, having my book out there. It finally came true for me, not because I got a traditional publishing company behind me to promote me and make me a bestseller. I'm not at all a bestseller, but I have written, published, and sold books on. Actually, I've used Amazon, but you could use other things. And it's quite a. In some ways, it's easy because you don't have to ask permission from anybody. In some ways, it's hard because you have to learn a lot of skills along the way to publish a book. You're not just writing the story; you're making the whole product. But it's just something you can learn. So that's what this lesson is really about. And in the book, it goes through the process or an overview of the process. The first thing to say, self-publishing means you do not have a publisher like Kodansha or I don't know, Penguin Books or something. You don't have a traditional publisher behind you. It's self in the fact that you are the one doing the work. Now you could hire somebody to go and do the work for you, but part of the joy is doing it yourself. Now, the first time you make the book, probably it's awful. You have to have a certain level of skill, but you can learn it. So now let's see. The first step in self-publishing is to write and edit the book yourself. Now, you could write nonfiction or fiction. I've done both. And yes, you need to get other people to look at it. Don't just publish whatever you have written down. It's more than a spell check. If you're writing a novel, there's a lot of editing that has to go into it. It's not as easy as just telling a story. Let's put it that way. But also, it's not impossible. So anyway, it's good to have an editor or friends who are literary, who are good at books, to help you to look over things. You always need another pair of eyes looking at your work at some point once you've finished it. So anyway, check for grammar mistakes, spelling errors, and clarity, making it clear that your language is clear. And you may want professional help for that. You can pay somebody to do that, and you own the rights to that book. Next is formatting, and this scares people who are formatting. That's the sort of the coding, making what you've written on a piece of paper or on a screen, turning that into the code that you tell the printers to print. But it's no more complicated than writing a Word document. If you can do a Word document, it's something that you can learn, and you can buy software for it, things like Vellum. The book that you have in your hands, if you've bought the book, look at the bottom of the description of this video if you want to buy the book. But if you have that book in your hand, that was self-published essentially. I published it myself on Amazon. I used Vellum to format it. I did use AI to make the pictures. See this AI guy behind me? Just make sure you count his fingers. I think he's got 5, so he passes. But for me, the illustrations are not so important, and I wasn't going to pay somebody to do it. So, but you might want to pay for an artist if you needed to. Anyway, but this book was formatted using a software called Vellum, and then you just have to upload it. You can upload it to Amazon, or there's other ones, Kobo, Apple Books. The number of companies changes. The big dog is Amazon, but it doesn't have to be. You could also publish it with a local company, but then you have to buy like 1,000 copies. The beauty of using something like Amazon or Apple Books or Kobo, you can make an ebook and it exists. You don't have to have a bedroom full of your unsold copies of books. And also, you can print on demand. So the customer orders a book, for example, from Amazon, they get 1 copy. You don't have to have 1,000 copies. Only when they sell 1 copy do they print it. So it's called print on demand. And it's a good system for small scale writers like me, maybe like you. There's lots to say about it. This is a very short lesson, but anyway, also so Yeah, okay. The final point is you need to have a cover. That might be you need to pay an artist to do it, but with AI, maybe you can do it yourself. I make the covers myself. The cover of this book, I don't know yet what it will be, but I will either buy some artwork from a stock photo online service, or else maybe I'll make it myself. I'll draw. I like to paint, maybe, or I'll use some AI art and put it together. There's a certain look to the books that fit into the series, so as long as I follow that style, I can use a Word document or something else. And yeah, then it's just a matter of uploading the files to Amazon, and away you go. So, to summarize, self-publishing is not using a publisher. Number two, the first step is writing and editing the book. Number three is formatting, turning it into a file. Actually, it's actually easy, using some software. And the final step is to upload to something like Amazon or Kobo or Apple Books. Easy, huh? Not easy. But then, if you really want to be a success, then you have to market your book, and that's a whole different topic. But I'm just interested in making the book first. Whew, lots to cover, isn't it? But let's see. I have three questions. Number one, what's the hardest part of the publishing process for you, this self-publishing process? Number two, do you know anything about the traditional publishing process? How were books published before the internet? Do you know? Do you care? And number three, here's an even more important question. Are books in the internet age obsolete? Obsolete means too old-fashioned. Like this machine behind me here, this printing press, that's so obsolete. Now we just send an email. So I don't know. Are books obsolete? Do we not need them anymore? What do you think? Okay, thank you for listening. I will get on with writing this book. That's old-fashioned, isn't it? Typewriter. Okay, see you next time.